So, your child is thinking of going vegan, and you as a thoughtful parent want to know what this means for your child. Will they be healthy? Is this going to be okay? It's unsurprising that you would be wary of such a change. Like many of us, you probably grew up in a world with messages like this about how to divide up one's diet, always making space on the plate for a protein source, usually meat, and encouraging the consumption of lots of dairy to get all that calcium. You've probably heard a lot of conflicting views about whether veganism can be healthy, which can be quite confusing and make it really hard to know if you're making the right choice for your child, which again might add to your wariness. Rather than give you my opinion, I will instead share with you the opinions that really matter. Here is the full statement from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics of America. It is the position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics that appropriately planned vegetarian, including vegan, diets are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits for the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. These diets are appropriate for all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, infancy, childhood, adolescence, older adulthood, and for athletes. Plant-based diets are more environmentally sustainable than diets rich in animal products, because they use fewer natural resources and are associated with much less environmental damage. Vegetarians and vegans are at reduced risk of certain health conditions, including ischemic heart disease, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, certain types of cancer and obesity, low intake of saturated fat, and high intakes of vegetables, fruit, whole grains, legumes, soy products, nuts, and seeds, all rich in fiber and phytochemicals, are characteristics of vegetarian and vegan diets that produce lower total and low density lipoprotein cholesterol levels and better serum glucose control. These factors contribute to reduction of chronic disease. Vegans need reliable sources of vitamins B12, such as fortified food and supplements. Whereas in Britain, the British Dietetic Association, formed of dietitians, give the following statement, confirming that a well-planned vegan diet can support healthy living of people in all ages. It's a very similar message, but just to fairly represent, they state that one of the UK's longest organisations that represent dietetics and nutrition, the British Dietetic Association, has affirmed that a well-planned vegan diet can support healthy living in people of all ages in an official document signed by its CEO. The British Dietetic Association, founded in 1936, is a professional association of trade union for dietitians in Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It is the nation's largest organisation of food and nutrition professionals with over 9,000 members. The BDA has renewed its Memorandum of Understanding with the Vegan Society to state that a balanced vegan diet can be enjoyed by children and adults, including during pregnancy and breastfeeding, if the nutritional intake is well planned. These two statements are not the only statements by dietetic associations across the world that support the health benefits of a balanced, healthy, well-planned vegan diet. They do represent the general medical consensus, and if you're understandably concerned that a change in diet could perhaps put your child at risk, I'd encourage you to take assurance from these statements that it is possible, as the topic can be divisive due to the emotional attachment people have to the ways that they and political changes in the world. I would suggest that you stick to consensus for recommending a healthy planning of a diet for your child, rather than following opinion. The BDA goes on to give further advice about how to handle specific nutrients that you might be worried about. You can see as you scroll through the fact sheet that generally the nutrients that you'd be quite more likely to worry about are usually quite available within a vegan diet, and some of the nutrients that we might think of generally getting from animal sources are available from plant sources too, though some might take more planning or might encourage supplementation in addition, just to be on the safe side. The main one that would generally be referenced and encouraged to be supplemented is B12. Although it's available in fortified foods, it's just far safer to just take a supplement and ensure that that's covered. Although it's something that would generally be worth encouraging for people who are not vegans as well. I think quite often people who are not vegan assume that their B12 levels are fine because they consume animal products, but this is not always the case. Everyone is at risk of B12 deficiency if they're not properly taking care of it, and whether your child were vegan or not, they should probably be supplementing B12. So with reassurance that it's possible for your child to be really quite healthy on a vegan diet. You might still feel like you know what you're doing with the diet that you're used to, so why change? Your child has made an ethical connection. If your child now sees the animal agricultural industry as being immoral, as causing suffering to innocent animals, and no longer wants to participate in that suffering, and it poses no threat to their health for them not to do so, and they are able to disengage from that cruelty without putting themselves in danger, there is a risk worth mentioning at this point that pushing your child towards something that they despise, that they find unkind, that they find uncompassionate, that they morally object to, is an act that's detrimental to your child and to your relationship with your child. Creating hostile environments around food can cause your child to develop quite complicated relationships with food as they grow up. Anxiety and control issues around eating, and the association of meal times with having to participate in something that they find morally objectionable, can cause disturbances in how your child relates to food and meal times. And as the request that your child makes is a healthy and sustainable one, in fact a progressive one and a kind one, forcing them to go against their internal judgment, their internal sense of what's right, can be compromising for your child's development of self-confidence and assuredness. Your child is demonstrating that they care deeply about doing what is right, about standing up for justice and goodness in the world. Your child is showing that they're developing good character, that they're honourable, decent people. Your child is showing that they want to make this world a better place. Your child is showing that they are willing to take responsibility for their actions and ensure that they do good in order to manage the consequences. These are the sorts of traits that you would be well advised to nurture in your child, so that your child may reach adulthood well-adjusted, confident, strong, honourable, moral. You should be proud that your child looks at the world questioningly and does not simply take the authority of what's presented to them, but seeks to learn and challenge and make things better. If you were to choose to disallow your child from engaging in a more compassionate way with the world, your child will likely feel forced and undermined. Your child will feel distressed at having to engage in something that they find objectionable. Your child will feel disrespected. Of course, I cannot speak to your relationship with your child, but I know for myself that my parents were encouraging when I was a child, and that I love them dearly, and that we have a wonderful relationship. I'm proud of how they handled raising me and who I was, encouraging me to think freely and show compassion. I believe that it's through my upbringing that I became a well-adjusted, decent, thoughtful and giving human being. I feel very strongly that had my parents not respected me when I was a child and decided that I didn't want to eat meat, that our relationship would be strained, that we wouldn't be close, that I wouldn't have the trust in them that I do now, and that I wouldn't feel respected as an adult. It is very possible for your child to have a healthy vegan diet, to live healthily on a vegan diet. Ensure that you seek the right dietary guidance and supplement as necessary, but do consider the impact that force and dominance may have on your relationship, as your child will one day reach adulthood, and dominating them will no longer be a solution. And when domination is no longer at your disposal, you might find that the bond has been too significantly tested, and your relationship with your child may not be as it could have been. I'm grateful to my parents for the understanding that they showed, for being supportive and engaging and open-minded, and it has certainly been for the best for all of us. Congratulations on having such a wonderful child, and I hope you take advantage of this opportunity to nurture some of these wonderful attributes that are demonstrating so early. Visit the Vegan Society's website for really good advice on how to plan a balanced vegan diet. Thank you for dropping by today. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I'd be very happy to help you to find the right answers for your child.